started off today with some of the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. The reason I'm using this is because I know that under any foundation, it looks fantastic and it wears very, very well. Because today, finally going to be trying out the new Fenty Beauty, I wanted to have something on that I knew if I got a different result, it would be not because of what I had on my base. That's why I've gone for this. I'm going to apply this foundation with a brush, and then if I need to, I'll go in afterwards with the sponge just to see how well it applies with both. I'm going to put some on the back of my hand. Now this is in the color 1. Matching this foundation is actually really quite difficult. It's way too fair for me. I've got some other colors on the way. I just wanted to do this anyway so that you could see. So I did a foundation match on Sephora and also on Cult Beauty. They all came back as 1. As you can see, 1 is far too light. However, we will just put it on because we can fix it. You can always bronze up and things like that. I always think it's a lot easier to bronze up a light foundation and make that correct than it is to work with a foundation that's too dark. So I guess if anything, we're on the better side of being able to fix it. Tapping that in with my brush. I don't want to rub too much because I don't want to get any texture, and I want to try and get a really nice even application of it. I guess the good thing about it being a little bit too light is it really stands out where I've put it, which is going to make it really easy to tell how it's actually looking and wearing. I guess that's one benefit of it being a bit too light. I actually think it's probably oxidized maybe a little bit as well. Being in the mirror, it actually doesn't look as white as what it does in the camera, but it's still a little bit too fair for me. Nice cover with the brush. So I'm just going to go in now with a damp sponge and just tap that all in. Might shear it out just a tiny bit, but it's not really shearing it out at all actually. I prefer to go over a foundation with a sponge. I think it gives a much nicer finish to your foundation. It really makes it look part of your skin, and if you've got any parts that you've missed with a brush or sitting on top of your skin, working it in with a sponge is a really good way just to give it that really excellent airbrushed look. It is matte, we knew that. Coverage would be light, I'd say. What I've got on, it's buildable. So let's try and build it up and see what happens. I'm going to try and build it up with my sponge. Technically, it shouldn't really matter whether we use a brush or a sponge or even our hands. We should still get the same result, really, especially when you're talking products like Fenty. So I'm going to try and build that up under my eyes and see how much extra coverage we can get. And then I'm also going to try and build it up on my nose because that seems to be where a lot of people lose cover from their foundation, sort of going outwards from the inside to the outside of my face. Just stopping to have a look because it definitely oxidizes. You can see the color difference. If I put some on here, you can see the color difference above. I still think I've seen people putting on shade 4. That's probably a tiny bit too dark for me, but I think they're got shade 3 and then 6 coming. My daughter might end up scoring the shade 6 because she's got beautiful olive skin. That's probably going to be too dark, but worst case scenario, it would be a combo of shade 1 and then maybe mix in a bit of shade 3 for a bit more. It's built up well. So that's really taken it from very sheer and light up to what I would consider to be a light medium cover now. Comparison wise, I would say a second coat has probably brought this up to something similar to the NARS, Sheer Glow, or the Hydromania from Urban Decay. This is the new Patrick Ta contouring palette. This is in the lighter shade. I do have the other shade, but I'll just use the lightest one today. And the cream actually has a little lid over the top of it, which is so good for keeping it fresh. I'm going to do bronzing first. This is, again, it's light, but we're going for a natural-ish look today. We're just trying to make it all look like we woke up like this, which of course we didn't. You have to excuse me because Kitten is awake and so is Bee the Tornado, and Toby is trying to oversee them playing, but they do all get a little bit excited. Like I put the photo on my Instagram the other day. Sometimes I have to stop because they do things like try and eat my cords. So Bee went through the garbage just before Easter and ended up getting into some chocolate and had herself a little anaphylactic shock. So rushed off to the vet and she had to have a whole pile of steroids. And then to add insult to injury, they made her also throw up all the chocolate eggs. because obviously chocolate's poisonous to dogs. That's the third, I think, one she's had now. We don't know what causes it. Apparently it's common for golden retriever puppies to have that. I'd never heard of it before. Apparently they grow out of it, but it just means that we really can't leave her alone, even outside on her own, because we don't know what she's allergic to. It could be something as simple as a type of plant or a type of grass, or it could actually be food, or it could be bird dropping that she's eating those and something they've ingested has affected her. We just don't know what it is. That's a really, really nice cream. That has totally just gone into my skin like butter. I'm going to use just my NARS because, again, I know how this performs. If anything doesn't look so crash hot, I will know straight away what it is. It does say blurring, and it does say blurring quite a few times, right? It's definitely blurred, but the pores on the side of my nose are still quite prominent. I don't know if you can see that. Isn't that attractive? So I'm going to show you how to get around that. So what you need to do is you need something a little bit thick. So if you're using a medium to full coverage foundation, that would be perfect. Obviously, this is not a medium to full coverage foundation, so it won't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my concealer. I'm going to put just a couple of dots on the edge of my nose there, where those pores are. Then I'm going to get quite a dense brush, and I'm going to just tap that concealer into the side of my nose. Now it sounds awful because effectively what you're doing is tapping that concealer into those large pores. However, if you're cleansing your skin correctly at nighttime, it won't matter. It should just come off just as easily as any other product that you're putting on your face. I mean, you're stippling foundation in everywhere else anyway. We're just doing it in a more targeted area. I'm just going to go down the sides of my nose like that and just get that cream in, because that foundation itself was not blurring enough to target the pores. Take that as you want to take it. If you're looking for something to blur and minimize pores based on the side of my nose, I'm not sure this is going to do it. I'm going to get out the Iconic. This is quite a sheer product as well, and I also know that this one wears very well and it's not too thick, so it won't affect the coverage of our foundation. It won't affect the look of the foundation. It's just going to give me a little bit of extra color in the cheek. This is a product that you can definitely build up as you want to. If you wanted something darker than that, either build it up or get a darker color. This won't get lost in your foundation. No matter what foundation you wear, it won't dull down the brightness or the glow. B, settle down. Crazies. They can be so cute. They can be so naughty. The shade is not too bad. It definitely oxidizes. And I really can't wait till those other shades arrive, because I'll definitely show you the difference. If you're unsure of what shade to get, because shade matching can be really complicated with this one, what I would recommend you do is go for the lighter of the two shades that you're not sure about, because you can easily add in a darker concealer or some tan drops and you can warm it up that way. It's a lot easier. So I have here the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Lift. This is in the colour medium brown. I'm usually medium brown for most eyebrow products. It could be like a couple of shades too light. So I do have the Legendary Brown in brown black. So the combination of the slightly warmer pencil and then the darker brow actually looks quite nice. This one here is just your standard. When you think of an eyebrow pencil, you just think of that, right? I also have the Brow Cheat in medium brown, so you can see the difference. I'm going to use the Brow Lift today. I'm going to go through really quickly and fill in any gap. So now I'm just going to use some of the Legendary Brown. This is a really nice formula. Tiny, tiny wands. And you'll see how using that lighter shade of pencil can be evened out by using the darker shade of this. I'll have a look at the more precise one another time. So this is the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. Pop that under my eyes. My makeup won't stay unless I do that. And I'm definitely going to have to obviously get some of this off. A different way of putting your powder on. If you have trouble with makeup coming off on your nose, it's actually a really good way to put the powder on your nose with a wet sponge, especially in those corners, and then between your eyebrow. Let's add some colour back in. We're going to go into Patrick Tar powder and go back over our face with that. This is such a nice colour. When I'm going around my eyebrows, I start to stipple in that powder because I don't want any texture to develop there. If you're worried about texture, stipple in your powder. I'm also using a very, very light hand. I'm barely touching my face. Even to pick up the powder, I'm not digging into it. I'm just going across a couple of times and then gently work it in. We don't want to rub too much. You want to press it down. We're being quite liberal with this as well because of our skin tint. I am going to put some on my nose. I'm just going to press it in on each side. Once I've got it quite well pressed in, I'll just dust over my nose completely with it. And go back in quite gently and I'll go under my jawline. This is a really nice colour if you're looking for just that subtle sort of looking makeup, a gentle look. And then finally, I'm going to get my brush. I'm going to put a bit more on and I'm going to take from the edge of my eyebrow up there because we like to look as lifted as possible, but we're trying to make it not very obvious. You want to work it in quite well. Okay, now let's go over to my Hourglass palette. I sort of feel like Hourglass is a really good complement to the Fenty because the Fenty is supposed to look so natural and all the Hourglass products are also supposed to look natural. I'm just going to mix these two colors together for a blush. I'm going to go into the highlighting, so I'm going to put two of these. And this is more like a diffused highlighter. It's not super glowy. It's a lit from within type hint of glow, if you can see that. I'm going to try the new Huda Beauty Lip Contour. And this is the Pinky Brown 2.0. All over my lips. This is such a creamy, buttery formula. It's amazing. This is number 1 Baby Beige, and this is a really, really hydrating lip gloss. Let's just set our eyes again because, you know, see, even after that Laura Mercier powder, we have settling, and the best way to deal with it is just to get a sponge that's relatively clean and just work it all back in, and then go in with your eyeshadow. You want to have a colour that's similar to your actual eyelid colour. And then what you want to do is you want to go in with that shadow and work it into your eyelids and take it up so that the entire under eye area is covered. If you have any discoloration in the corner of your eyes there, by putting on a neutral colour like this, which has got a tiny bit of yellow in it, it'll actually help tint that colour back. And then if I pull my eyeshadow up high, I know it's not going to matter because I've got this base here down, which means the colours will just blend in even better. This is my Aucoin palette. I'm really enjoying using this one at the moment. I'm just going to go into the brown just here in the corner, and I'm just going to put that through the crease. Just something very simple, very quick, very easy. Take it down onto the eyelid, through the crease and up. You could also just use your bronzer to do this, just making it a little bit darker through the crease than what's on my eyelids, just a tiny bit. Sometimes less is more. Okay, quickly put on some of the By Terry. This is again another very good product. Really, really helps achieve individual and full lashes. This is just the Urban Decay All Nighter. I will check back with you guys later in the day. So far my thoughts are it's really easy to apply, but it's not tacky or sticky. It is very matte and the colour shading is difficult. If you can get past all of that, it's actually looking pretty good, but the true test is going to be how it's going to look through the day. I will take a few videos during the day and let you know how long it's been and what it's looking like, and then you'll be able to make your decision whether or not you want to get it. Well, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to follow or subscribe depending where you're watching this. Your support means a great deal to me and I really, really appreciate it. And also, if there's anything that you want to know or that I've missed, let me know. I will definitely get back to you. All right, thanks. Take care, guys. Bye.